You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul, and today we are going to be talking about on-demand drone insurance. As this winter weather wallops the Northeast and much of the Midwest, you got a lot of drone pilots scratching their heads wondering, do I really need annual insurance? And the answer is probably not. But if you're familiar with the on-demand insurance market, it can actually be quite confusing because there are multiple on-demand carriers for insurance. There is Verifly, Drone Insurance, and Skywatch. Now, over the past 5 weeks, I've been using each different platform because it's not really clear what platform does what. For example, what if I just want to get insurance for an hour? What if I want to get insurance for a month? What if I want whole insurance to cover my drone in the case of an accident? That means that they'll actually pay for the drone. Well, what if I just want to use a monthly plan to get intermittent coverage over the winter if I don't want to say pay for the whole winter? Well, after doing a lot of digging and actually with the help of Skywatch, who's helped me understand their platform, I've got a much better sense of what's going on in the drone insurance world. Now, if you remember, droneinsurance.com was actually a huge player earlier in 2018. Actually, about mid-2018, they launched their program. There were articles from Drone Girl, there were articles from Forbes, there were articles just everywhere. And as you know, a lot of this content that's kind of blasted out, really just scratches the surface. It doesn't go very deep. And that's what we want to provide here at Drone U, is that deeper content. So I had a lot of questions. I wanted to get them all answered. And I also wanted to do a price comparison because it's not very clear what you're going to get for what you pay. Meaning, is the price the same for each company if I want to get insured for an hour or a month or a year or whole insurance? Frankly, there are different restrictions and different liability limits, and I wanted to go through it all. And I can also understand why it's confusing for most people, because if you pull up Verifly, if you try to pull up drone insurance, which doesn't have a mobile application, you have to go onto a desktop. And then if you try to pull up Skywatch, you're going to see radically different pricing from each platform. So I want to cut through the noise, and I want to get through what is a viable solution, what is not a viable solution, and I wanted to compare them. So it's really important for me to kind of just go over these different on-demand platforms. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so there is one kind of sketchy issue that we'll hit at the very end of this podcast, which I found out is called non-admitted versus admitted insurance carriers. Why does this matter to you? Well, essentially, there are carriers that are admitted into the insurance system in their state, which means that in order to change their rates, their terms, or their policies, they have to go through some sort of regulatory period or some sort of regulatory oversight in one way or another. When you're non-admitted, you can change policy rates willy-nilly, you can change coverage willy-nilly. There's no regulatory oversight. So when I learned that one of the particular vendors was an admitted carrier, I was kind of interested in wondering, why did that matter? In fact, when I went on the droneinsurance.com website, there's even a section talking about admitted versus non-admitted insurance. And it is really interesting that droneinsurance.com, unlike Verifly and unlike Skywatch, can actually change they can change things without you knowing. So anyway, long story short, maybe not without you knowing, but without regulatory oversight, okay? So this has been a really tricky subject as well, because if you pull up these different applications, you're going to notice different prices. And if you actually go through certain steps, if you dig through the noise and spend time going through these, you can actually save a significant amount of money. And this is where this podcast is really headed, because Skywatch has been pushing savings, savings, savings. But when you pull it up, it's always more expensive than the other groups. I mean, when I pulled it up this first time, it was showing me $12 or $15 for a flight. And then I noticed, because it was calculating my flight over a state road or state highway, which was Paseo del Norte. Now, if I move my circle away, the price went down. But after flying with Skywatch for a while, I'm now getting a 15% discount. Why is this important? Well, if you've taken our flight mastery course, or if you've taken our don't crash course, or the drills and exercise course online, and you don't break some fundamental rules from that course, this is your surest way to get a discount on insurance through DroneU, because the things that we teach here at DroneU will actually lead to you flying safer and will lead to a safety score and will lead to cheaper insurance. So let's go ahead and dig a little deeper. All right. So uniquely ahead of the rest of these options, in my opinion, is Skywatch. Now, Skywatch did pay to be a sponsor of this show, but as how do I say this? As someone who deeply cares about the information that they put out, I really wanted to make sure that everything that was being told to me was actually accurate. So I really took my time. I dug into droneinsurance.com, who actually also asked us to sponsor a show. So we've got competing companies asking to sponsor shows, and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on, right? We really need to know. The reason I was excited about Skywatch was that it's a mobile application, but Verifly is also the same way. What I did notice with Skywatch, though, is that there are other options as well. You can have monthly insurance, you can have hourly insurance, and you can have annual insurance. I'm not going to go over annual insurance because there are lots of carriers out there that can do annual insurance. And typically, if you're listening to this podcast, you may not be interested in annual insurance. But I do want to say, if you acquire a safety score through Skywatch, you can have an annual policy on one drone with hull insurance for almost as low as $600, depending on your safety score. Now, it's really important, depending on your safety score. Okay, so I wanted to know the cost for Verifly by the hour. I wanted to know the cost of drone insurance by the hour, and I wanted to know the cost of Skywatch by the hour. I also wanted to know if I could get hull insurance for each one of those. In addition, I wanted to know, what do I need to do to actually get a safety score? So, quick story. This podcast took a very long time to produce. Why? Because for the longest time ever, I thought that when I was flying through the Skywatch app, in order to get the safety score, I thought that I had to buy insurance, fly through the app, they would capture my data, and they would come back and give me a safety score. That ends up not being correct. You can actually build a safety score without spending any money whatsoever. So through Skywatch's app, if I click the top right corner, which is kind of the drone icon, you'll notice that essentially you get a screen as if you were flying through the DJI Go app. You can fly through Skywatch. You just open up the Skywatch app, you hit the top right corner where it looks like a drone with a little eye and markers coming off of it, plug in your drone, and you'll need to fly for a minimum of 5 minutes, okay? Now, I'm not going to tell you the secrets of getting a good safety score. If you've attended my flight mastery course or my drills and exercise class, you're gonna be fine. 100%, as long as you follow those rules, you will be fine. So, now, let's get into the comparison itself, all right? So I wanna know, does the price change if I'm insuring an Inspire, a Phantom, a Mavic, M600? Well, through Skywatch, I could not see any noticeable difference. As long as it was under 55 pounds, we were good. One thing is, between the 3 apps, Skywatch, Verifly, Drone Insurance was the only company that was asking very specifically what my deliverables were for each job. Meaning, if I was doing aerial photography, that's one thing. If I'm doing mapping, that's another thing. If I'm doing a cell phone tower, that's another thing. If I'm flying over a farm, that's another thing. There are 24 different scenarios. You have to uniquely mark each scenario and deliverable that you are delivering. If you don't, and you run into a problem, if you weren't following guidelines, you could end up not getting coverage. Every time I added a new deliverable, it was an extra $1. So before we go into the price breakdown, let's do this really fast. So I also wanted to know what happens if you move out of the circle area. You lose coverage, but I did notice that on every single app, so there's only Verifly and Skywatch because drone insurance is desktop. Verifly and Skywatch did not do a very good job of GPS signal in correlation to the circle that I was in, because oftentimes it was showing me out of the circle and I was not out of the circle, so very interesting. Another question I wanted to know, can I get a safety score if I'm flying enterprise drones? We just went outside and made sure that we could, utilizing the Skywatch app to get that safety score, we wanted to go outside, we fired it up, We plugged in Skywatch into our remote, flew through Skywatch, everything worked fine. So you can develop a safety score on a Phantom, Spire, on a Mavic Enterprise, which is really cool. So let's continue down this rabbit hole, shall we? So how do you actually get your safety score? Well, as you had heard, I incorrectly thought that you had to pay to get a safety score, but you just have to fly for 5 minutes at a time through the Skywatch app. When you click that button in the top right corner, you're gonna wanna land, so that's one completed sortie. You can shut her down, turn it back on, fly for 5 more minutes, shut her down, fly back. You get what I'm saying. You wanna do that 5 times, okay? Once you do that 5 times, you will get a safety score, okay? That safety score is going to give you a discount. So, for example, when I'm looking at Skywatch itself, if I want to actually get insurance where I am in my area, with my safety score, it's $8.50 per hour versus the $10 per hour that it used to be, okay? So my safety score would save me $1.50 an hour, all right? But oftentimes, people don't want to be just insured for an hour. It may be more cost effective to be insured by the month. In fact, I can say with a high degree of confidence that it is much cheaper to buy it by the month instead of buying it by the day. But let's go over the monthly pricing. Let's go over the hourly pricing, okay? So sorry, I've got lots of graphs here because there is a lot of information, a lot of data that went in this. Okay, so insurance carrier, all right? If I wanted drone insurance for an hour, I can't get it. Let me just make sure, again, drone insurance hourly, not available. Base price for Verifly is $10, okay? That's for a quarter-mile area, over roads or not over roads. That's an important indicator. We'll go over that in a minute. With Skywatch, it was $10 as well, so the same price as Verifly, except when I reached my safety score, it went down to $8.50, okay? Now that being said, can I have additional certificates of insured? You guys know that's really important if you're working on a production. So the answer with Skywatch is yes. The answer with Verifly is yes. And the answer with drone insurance is yes. So drone insurance only covers you for a full day. They won't do it to just 1 hour. So if you want a full day, you have to pay the $7 monthly fee plus $30 for the day, okay? So that means a total for 1 day is $37. Now, to put this in perspective, right? Droneinsurance.com, 1 day, $37, okay? Whereas with Verifly, 1 hour is $10, and with Skywatch, it's $8.50. But here's what's interesting, right? $37 for 1 day. It might seem cheap, right? Well, with Skywatch, I can pay $58.53, that's with my safety score, to have a limited liability policy of $1 million and have hull insurance for up to $1,000 and have the equivalent of what drone insurance calls base coverage. What is base coverage? Essentially, and I made sure with Skywatch that this was true, if you have your drone with you in your car and your car gets broken into and they take your drone, base coverage will cover the stolen drone, and the same thing with droneinsurance.com. But I want to go back to that important point, right? $37 a day for drone insurance versus $53 for the month with Skywatch, right? So for almost $20 more, we've got 29 additional days, right? That's a big difference. Now, if I wanted to get monthly insurance with Skywatch, $58.53, and if I went with drone insurance with the same $1 million policy with hull insurance, it's $238.32, okay? $238 for drone insurance versus Skywatch $58.53. And since I am not a math genius, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my handy dandy calculator and figure out just how much of a savings that is from one carrier to the other, which is $179 every single month in difference, okay? That's a significant cost, right? $179, I get some pretty sweet batteries for that. So, okay, I think it's really important to understand too that this base coverage that droneinsurance.com offers is kind of like also a general liability policy for your company. So it does offer a few more points of insurance and coverage than the Skywatch program. But in order to fully understand what coverage you're getting, you need to go through your declarations page. Anytime you get one of these on-demand insurances, you need to download the PDF of your insurance and actually verify your coverages via your declarations page. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an insurance agent, I don't have an insurance license, and I'm not trying to play a lawyer or insurance agent on TV or on radio. I'm just trying to compare some prices. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that being said, Verifly, Skywatch, droneinsurance.com. Which one offers great coverage for the cheapest rate? Well, after lots of research, it's Skywatch. But it's only Skywatch if you get a safety score. If you don't get a safety score, then it will be a little bit more expensive because Skywatch also calculates if you're flying over roads, if you're flying over highways. It also costs more if you're in areas like over an airport or near airport airspace. So the price does increase with more potential safety risks, right? Now, there's other good news, right? With Skywatch, you can also upload all of your flight logs directly to Skywatch. So if you don't want to take 25 minutes to go flying and practice your skills and become a better pilot and potentially even gain more confidence, then you can upload your log files or your DAT files to Skywatch's website and instantaneously get your safety score. Now, I found it really interesting because I know of a lot of people using Verifly, and I don't know of many people using Skywatch. And I think I finally figured out why. When you first open up Skywatch and compare the rate against Verifly, Verifly is cheaper. But when you fly through the Skywatch app and show them that you're not a total idiot, well, then the price goes down. And it makes a lot more sense to fly with Skywatch hourly and Skywatch monthly, where you can get whole insurance and liability insurance for around $60 a month. You can even swap out birds. It's so easy. In fact, I'm kind of surprised how easy it is. I'm wondering, how are they making money? I'm just kidding, they're making money. It's insurance. Anyway, long story short, after going through a huge deep dive that's taken me an awfully long time, I want to say that I think Skywatch could be a great application and practical insurance for especially people in the Midwest, in the Northeast, and anyone who's dealing with these cold weather temperatures who may have a job here and there in the wintertime. If you're like me and you live in the desert Southwest or in the South where you don't typically deal with these issues and you have coverage all year long, then it may not be right for you. But I think that this is something that is definitely worth taking a look at for most drone pilots. So check out skywatch.ai. It is available on the App Store and on the Android store. You can also check out Verifly and droneinsurance.com. You know, it's funny. I thought droneinsurance.com, going to be a lot more competitive as far as pricing is concerned. But droneinsurance.com also has a $7 monthly fee that you have to pay. So puts it in a different bracket. But anyway, that is going to do it for our show today. Thank you very much for asking your questions. This one was asked a long time ago. I couldn't even find a question in the queue because there's over 1,000 questions in the queue right now. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching, supporting the show. Please subscribe to the show, click the like button, or share it with someone who you think will find this information helpful. And it may even make you look cool if you share this with someone else and they end up saving a bunch of money. Then you're going to end up helping someone, and we all know how that feels. So on that bombshell, that is going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this quick, short, down and dirty episode of which drone insurance carrier or which on-demand drone insurance carrier is the cheapest and the most bang for your buck. The answer? Skywatch. We will see you next time on another episode of Ask Drone U.